Tragedy in the air. Deadly small plane crash in Simi Valley, California 1. A peaceful afternoon is torn apart by a terrifying explosion. On the afternoon of Saturday, May 3, 2025, a quiet residential area in Simi Valley, California, a city about 40 miles northwest of downtown Los Angeles, was suddenly disturbed by a serious aviation accident. A small homemade Vans RV-10 plane crashed into a residential area near the intersection of High Meadow and Wood Ranch Parkway, directly colliding with two houses and creating a huge explosion, leaving local residents in shock. The incident only led to the tragic death of the pilot, the only person on board, but also left big questions about civil aviation safety, especially for small, homemade, or personally operated aircraft. Crash details: homemade plane, short trip and fatal crash, the plane and planned route. According to the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, the plane that crashed was a Vans RV-10, a popular home-built aircraft in the civilian aviation community. It is a low-wing, four-seat aircraft that is highly regarded for its performance and ability to be customized in construction. It is typically built and operated by experienced pilots under an FAA experimental aircraft license. The ill-fated RV-10 departed from William J. Fox Airport in Lancaster, California, and was scheduled to land at Camarillo Airport, a journey that would only take about 30 to 40 minutes. However, after less than half an hour of flight, at approximately 2:10 p.m., the plane crashed into a residential area in Simi Valley. The fateful moment, the crash and the explosion. According to witnesses and information from the Ventura County Fire Department, the plane crashed straight into two two-story houses, causing a large fire. Shelby Joyce, a nearby resident, told ABC News, "My mom and I were watching TV, and we heard what sounded like a helicopter flying by. Suddenly, there was a loud bang, and the whole house shook. We looked out and saw a big fireball and black smoke billowing up. The scene was described as straight out of a disaster movie. Dozens of residents in the neighborhood immediately fled their homes for fear of the fire spreading, while firefighters rushed to the scene." Emergency response: 40 firefighters, rapid rescue efforts. About 40 firefighters from the Ventura County Fire Department were dispatched to the scene to control the fire, rescue residents, and handle the risk of fire spreading. Thanks to the quick and effective response, no civilians were injured, even though both houses were occupied at the time of the crash. "We are very fortunate that there were no civilian casualties. The pilot was the only victim and was pronounced dead at the scene," Andrew Dowd, a spokesman for the fire department, confirmed at a press conference. Firefighters worked tirelessly to control the situation, and by late afternoon, the fire was completely extinguished. Information about the victim: the only pilot on board at this time, the identity of the pilot has not been officially announced. According to the FAA, he was the only person on board. Authorities have collected samples, conducted an autopsy, and investigated the victim's technical background, including flight records, pilot's license, and aircraft assembly process, if any. Although there is no official conclusion, many people speculate that the pilot may be the owner and direct assembler of the RV-10, which is not uncommon in the DIY aviation community in the U.S. FAS. Investigating the cause, FAA and NTSB take part immediately after the incident. The U.S. National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, announced that it would lead the investigation, coordinating with the FAA to clarify the cause of the accident. This process can last from several weeks to several months, including steps such as collecting black boxes, if any, flight data, radio communications before the accident, analyzing the structure of the aircraft and remaining parts at the scene, interviewing witnesses, considering weather, technical factors, and human factors. Although there is no preliminary conclusion, according to experts, DIY aircraft like the RV-10 often pose higher risks than commercial aircraft or light aircraft officially manufactured by manufacturers. Home-built aircraft, freedom, risk, and legal gray areas. The Simi Valley crash has once again reignited the debate over the safety of experimental aircraft, a growing trend among aviation enthusiasts in the United States. What is a home-built aircraft? According to the FAA, a home-built or experimental aircraft is an aircraft assembled by an individual or organization that is not a certified aircraft manufacturer. These aircraft do not undergo the same rigorous inspection process as commercial aircraft, but are still allowed to fly if they comply with the law and have a license. The Vans RV-10 is one of the most popular home-built aircraft designed for enthusiasts to assemble from a kit. Safety concerns. According to NTSB statistics, the accident rate of home-built aircraft is significantly higher than that of manufactured aircraft. Some of the main reasons include uneven assembly quality, limited maintenance inspection and training, often no cockpit voice recorder, black box, subjective psychology when operating. Therefore, every time an accident like the one in Simi Valley occurs, experts and the public ask, should regulations be tightened for this type of aircraft? How does the local community react? When an aviation accident occurs in a residential area, the first thing people care about is not only the level of material damage, but also future safety. In Simi Valley, the plane crash not only caused panic among nearby residents, but also left a clear psychological aftershock throughout the area. Panic and awakening residents living near the scene, especially those who were at home when the incident occurred, are still in shock. Although no civilians were injured, the near-death experience and the sight of the fireball rising from the house next door sent many into a mild state of panic. Shelby Joyce, who lives across the street, said, "The plane was just a few feet away from hitting our house. I never thought something like this could happen in the middle of this residential area." Some families near the scene temporarily left their homes in the early days to avoid the toxic smoke and to stabilize their mental health. Community and government support. The Simi Valley City government has set up an emergency support area for those affected, including temporary shelter, psychological counseling, and legal assistance related to property damage. Local volunteer organizations also quickly stepped in, providing food, blankets, and material assistance to 2 families whose homes were damaged by the plane crash. How do the media and public opinion view the incident? Immediately after the accident, the incident was reported by a series of major media channels in the U.S. and internationally, including CNN, ABC News, CBS, and many local newspapers in California. The media not only reported the event, but also raised important questions about aviation safety for homemade aircraft. Media analysis and divided public opinion. On social networking forums such as Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit, the online community had many mixed reactions. One group said that this was an isolated accident and that we should not be too harsh on the homemade aviation community, which has a passion, skills, and long-standing tradition. Another group raised serious questions about the regulations governing and inspecting homemade aircraft, especially when these aircraft fly over densely populated areas. On Reddit RR Aviation, one user wrote, "No one wants to take away the right to fly from aviation enthusiasts, but there should be minimum safety standards. Planes crashing into homes is not acceptable." Opportunity to raise public awareness. The public also highlighted this as an opportunity to increase awareness of small aircraft safety. Organize. Public education campaigns on how to respond to aircraft crashes near residential areas. Propose no-fly zones or restricted flight corridors over residential areas. Recent similar small plane crashes in the U.S. The Simi Valley crash is not the only recent incident involving small planes. According to data from the National Transportation Safety Board, there are an average of more than 1,000 small plane crashes in the U.S. each year. Here are some examples. Florida crash, 2023. Cessna 172 crashed into a residential area in St. Petersburg, Florida, killing 2 people and setting a house on fire. The cause was determined to be mid-air engine failure. Colorado crash, 2024. A Piper PA-28 carrying 3 people crashed into the woods near Boulder, Colorado. All passengers survived thanks to locator beacons, which helped rescuers find them within 12 hours. This crash is a reminder of the importance of safety equipment in small planes. Washington, D.C. plane collision. January 2025. 2 private planes collided in midair off the coast of Washington, D.C., killing 6 people. The incident shocked the nation and prompted the FAA to launch a comprehensive review of air traffic safety. These incidents clearly demonstrate that small aircraft can become a real hazard if not tightly controlled. Lessons and policy recommendations. Some key lessons can be learned from the Simi Valley crash. More oversight of home-built aircraft is needed, although the FAA has regulations for experimental aircraft. Certificate today on the show, we're diving into the world of economic indicators. These are the numbers that tell us how the economy is doing. Things like GDP, unemployment rates, and consumer confidence. But what do these indicators really mean? How are they calculated? And how should we interpret them? We'll break it all down for you with the help of some experts to make sense of the numbers that shape our world.